This is the honest truth that nobody is going to tell you about embracing the unknown. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance. And yes, that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. With that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it does not apply, let it fly. But most importantly, grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to talk about how you're going to embrace the unknown, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and what to be aware of when you start this journey. Starting off with the disclaimer, starting off with the things that you should be aware of, is that when you decide to change your life, anything that was once familiar with you is no longer going to be compatible with you. You have to realize that change is inevitable. That is the first thing that you need to be aware of. The moment you decide to elevate, whether it's because you are ready to move forward or because time has gone by and the seasons have to change, you must learn to let go. You must learn to move forward. And most importantly, you have to become adaptable until you're able to detach completely and allow yourself to be free internally or externally. You will feel stuck and stagnant. You will feel delayed. You will feel like you're not able to move forward. This is why people suffer from PTSD. This is why it's so challenging and so difficult for people to become the best version of themselves, because you are not ready to let go of a version of you that no longer exists. What you used to do at the age of 5 may not be what you're doing right now at the age of 27, 37, or 47. Let me know how old you are down in the comments down below. Change is inevitable. The seasons are going to change. The weather is going to change. The world is going to change. For those of you who are believing in science, look up plate tectonics. The world has to shift. If you're spiritual, you understand that you're not going to live forever. If you're religious, it says it in the word. Take what resonates, leave the rest, because we're not here to force religion or spirituality. The second thing that you have to be aware of once you are able to accept that things are going to change, that you're going to change, is allowing yourself to change, meaning learning to feel the temporary form of discomfort. In the beginning, change, if you're not used to adapting, if you're not used to letting go, if you struggle with attachment issues, it's only going to seem hard. It's only going to seem scary because maybe you weren't taught and shown. Maybe you don't know how to problem solve. Maybe you didn't realize that life has to go on, especially when you've gone through a significant amount of trauma. Just because we go through traumatic experiences doesn't mean that we have to suffer for the rest of our life. Like, yes, this doesn't invalidate that when we go through trauma, it changes us physically, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, subconsciously, or howeverly, but it could change us for the better. People struggle with change when they don't know who they are or when they're not able to continue to move forward. And most importantly, the third thing is that there's a reason why you have to change. Until you realize there's a reason on why you have to grow, you're going to think that the people and the places and things that you were once familiar with is holding you back. You're going to have attachment issues until you realize that there's a reason why you have to change. There's a reason why the world has to shift. There's a reason why the seasons have to change. Now, of course, what is that reason? That's for you. Everyone looks at life differently. So once again, take what resonates, leave the rest. You have to realize you went through certain things in your past up until this moment when you're watching this video for a reason. If you don't know why you had certain consequences, if you don't know why you made certain decisions, the fourth thing you need to do is self-reflect. You have to be able to self-reflect. We have to start paying attention. There are resources, there's tools, there's information. It's in front of us. We can't complain about not having understanding if we're not educating ourselves, if we're not finding the resources, if we're not speaking up. Just because you weren't taught and shown these things doesn't mean that you don't have access. If you're on YouTube, YouTube is a search engine. You could look up questions, how to heal yourself, how to elevate, how to adapt change, how to let go of attachment issues. I've made over 400 videos to help and inform those of you all who resonate with these videos, to motivate, educate, and inform you. Once you decide that you want to do something, you have to put in the work. Same thing with God, ancestors, and universe. Once again, take what resonates, leave the rest. Whatever you believe in is external. The internal has to match your reality. So if you're reading Bibles, if you're reading scriptures, if you're reading the Quran, if you're believing in spirituality, if you're going off of science, you still have to apply that information in order for you to get a certain reality. And this is what a lot of people don't tell you about the unknown. Like, this doesn't discredit people who tell you that all you have to do is visualize and to pray. There needs to be an action. There needs to be an energy. You have to be whole in order for you to change. You have to be aware. You have to be knowledgeable. For those of you who are religious, you're not going to be able to receive certain things in life or experience certain things in life if you're not equipped, if you're not educated. In order for you to embrace the unknown, in order for you to face your fears, you have to accept who you are. So now, what are the recommendations? In order for you to move forward, in order for you to let go of your past, you need to take some time to yourself. And this is where people talk about isolation. This is where people talk about hermit mode. This is when you start to lose certain people and certain places and certain things in your life. You have to be able to let go. If you can't let go and you can't stay still, you're going to struggle. You have to be able to sit in solitude. Just because you're being taken away from certain things that you were familiar with, such as family, friends, mindsets, morals, and behaviors, doesn't mean that you have to lose yourself. This is where people talk about rebirth. That version of you has to change. That version of you, or people like to say, has to die. You have to sit with yourself. You have to be alone. If you're not in an environment where, like I said, you're getting the information, you have the resources, you have the tools. A lot of people are in environments around people who are not growing, and that's why it's so difficult for people to move forward. When you're around certain people who are dysfunctional or low vibrational or maybe insecure or maybe ignorant or may have been limited, they're going to project and deflect that. So until you sometimes have to remove yourself from certain environments, you're constantly going to receive what you know. You're constantly, even with what it is that you've been taught and shown, just because you were taught and shown certain information as a child or even at school, even at work, doesn't mean that's going to continue to be compatible with you. The second thing that I recommend as you're continuing to embrace the unknown is to vocalize how you feel. Articulate yourself. If you feel uncomfortable in the beginning because maybe you don't have the resources, maybe you weren't taught and shown, say that. If you feel frustrated because you feel like you have to break generational curses and you're upset and you're comparing your life to other people, be honest, be vulnerable. You can't deny how you feel. If you're frustrated, you have to be frustrated. In order for you to stop feeling frustrated, in order for you to stop feeling envy, in order for you to stop feeling confused, you have to acknowledge that you feel that type of way. A lot of people struggle with being accountable. If you have insecurities, you shouldn't be ashamed or embarrassed to say that, because you're the only person who is suffering at the end of the day. The most people that I've had conversations with, the people I converse with, a lot of them had so many insecurities, but they don't want to admit that. I've met so many people in my life who are like, you know what? A lot of people don't want to admit that they have insecurities. And it's like, why not? You're doing yourself a disservice. If you feel envy, if you have hate, if you have low self-esteem, you have to admit that. You don't have to admit it to me. You can admit it to your God, ancestors, universe, or most importantly, yourself. Until you acknowledge how you genuinely feel about what you've gone through, whether it was right or wrong, you're constantly going to hold on. Once again, another reason why it's so hard for you to change, because you're so stuck on a version of you that needs to move forward. The third thing, you cannot deny it. You can't run from yourself forever. When you're meant to be great, when you're meant to do certain things in your life, it's going to come a time where you have no choice but to shift. You have no choice but to do things differently because it's no longer working. There is tension around certain people, places, and things. The beliefs that you once have no longer resonate with you. The fourth thing, as you continue to embrace the unknown, is take your time. This is your first time living in this reality as you. Now, what happened previously, what happens after, that's your business. You'll find out when it's your time. But because you're you right now, and this is new to you, embrace it. Just because something is new doesn't mean it's difficult. Like I said, it just means it's unfamiliar. Take your time. You don't have to compare your journey to other people. Once again, so many of my clients, so many of you all are comparing yourself. You can't compare yourself to other people who don't live the life that you do. You cannot compare yourself to people who have certain resources and certain knowledge and certain access that you don't. This doesn't mean that there's nothing underneath the sun that's new, meaning we all could have access to this information, but if you personally don't have the same things, why would you compare yourself? Why are you comparing yourself to people that you see online? You don't know what people go through behind the scenes, and unless people are honest unless people are vulnerable, unless people are showing you the ins and out, you're going to see a lot of times the result. And it's not the fact that people can't highlight their negatives or what they've gone through. A lot of people don't want to see that. A lot of people really don't want to see how certain things happen because it's too much. So it's just like, before you feel the need to compare yourself, just ask yourself, what have you gone through? How does this made you feel? What was your experience? You don't have to compare it. You can resonate. You could be, inspired by certain people that you see, because once again, when you see certain people, it's an energy, we're reflections to each other. That is a possibility. But embracing the unknown starts with you realizing that you have some fears, you have some doubts, talking about them. Then lastly, you can come up with a solution. Until you realize what it is that you're afraid of, until you realize why it's so difficult for you to change, until you realize how you feel, until you're honest about it, then we can come up with a solution. So it's just like, if you have fears, if you have insecurities, you have doubts, let me know in the comment section down below, so therefore we can come up with solutions. But it's like, once you are aware of something, once you see something, you can't unsee it. You have to choose to continue to embrace your journey. If not, you'll be forced. And a lot of times, that's why it's so difficult for people. A lot of people sometimes have to get forced, and it's unfortunate. You shouldn't have to struggle and suffer. Your God, ancestors, universe shouldn't have to beat you up left and right in every way loose for you to realize, hey, you need to take your life seriously. Hey, you need to pay attention. Hey, certain choices it's a matter of a second, split second of life and death. And people don't realize that death is quick. Life is serious. It's real. It's not a dream. So it's just like, in order for you to embrace the unknown, you need to figure out what's good. Shout out to Nicki Minaj. You guys remember on the VMAs when she said Miley was good? Miley was good. Figure out what's wrong with you. Like, what's the vibes? You've been praying, you've been asking for a sign. This is it. You can take it, or like I said, go on YouTube, search up the information that we gave you. But at the end of the day, life is going to go on, regardless if you're happy or not, regardless if you're doing what you want to do or not. Life is not waiting for nobody. This life was here before us. It will be here afterwards. If you are uncomfortable, you need to be honest. You need to take your time. You need to, like I said, be learning and unlearning. And it's a journey. It's a process. There's no one size fit all. It could take you 5 years to figure something out. It could take you 3 months. It could take you 3 days. It depends on where you are, what you went through, and how much time, energy, and effort you're able to, make for yourself. And because everyone's journey and path is different, once again, you're not going to have the same results as other people. Like, you may be doing the same thing, but it's not going to be done the same way. Embracing the unknown requires you to be honest. Embracing the unknown requires you to be vulnerable. Embracing the unknown requires you to be to be patient. And most importantly, if you lack confidence in the beginning, you have to become confident, because once you are on this path, you can't go back. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. Once you decide that you want to move forward, or like I said, once God, divine timing, take what resonates, leave the rest, says it's time for things to shift, you don't have a choice. Now I'm going to end off the video with that. So thank you guys for watching the video all the way to the end. Thank you guys for liking and commenting and engaging and turning on your post notification and subscribing. Thank you for following all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description box below. If you're interested in a service in a session where you want one-on-one, more intimacy, more calm, like I said, you're ready for solutions, head to my website. If not, follow me on my Instagram and on my TikTok. I will be going live answering you guys' questions if you're not able to book a service in a session. And like I said, DM me on Instagram, as well as let me know in the comment section. Like, these videos are for you. We need to see what's working. We need to see what's not. So your homework assignment and your challenge in this video is to figure out why you feel insecure when it comes to moving forward, as well as why do you think it's so difficult. So why do you think it's so difficult? Why do you struggle with insecurities to move forward and to let go? Once you figure that out, then like I said, we can go ahead and come up with the solutions. So let me know what you guys want to talk about, and thank you for watching. Until next time, peace.